Well, hello again. Hello again, Facebook and Instagram. This is live twice in one day. You get me in a bathrobe with absolutely no makeup on. This is what I look like before I go to bed. Good morning. Good morning. I don't know where you are in the world. Sob becher, shab becher, bonjour, adios, buenos dias, bonjour. I don't know where you are. Hello, Facebook. Hello, my beautiful friends on Instagram. Welcome to the second live SHALLZ on this Wednesday. I was live a few hours ago with an incredible woman by the name of Valerie Joy Wilson. She tested positive for COVID. I encourage you to go back. Hi, Miss Ramirez, Nilufar. You guys are tuning in. You're going to love to hear what I have to say. I got you information from a credible doctor. Hello from Vancouver, Sahar June. You guys get me today. Shida June from Washington State. Again, for those who are just jumping on with absolutely no makeup. I got nothing to hide from my friends. You are my friends, so I feel totally okay being here raw and myself and in my bathrobe with my water. And I earned this piece of chocolate today. I worked really, really hard. This is some dark chocolate with sunflower butter in it. I actually got it from Trader Joe's. And this is my dessert and treat for the night because I worked really, really hard today. So giving everybody on Instagram a moment to jump on, and to Facebook. Rosie, hello. Patty, hello. Maya, hello. Lucy from San Diego, good evening. Kiana, Parsa, look at you. So many wonderful people hopping on. What are you guys doing on this Wednesday night? I know it's 7 o'clock and I told you I would be on here around 6:30. I am struggling, Amber and Mariam. I'm so tired, Mariam. Ooh. But I have no makeup on right now. This is what I look like with no makeup, zero makeup. Showered and as clean as a whistle, and I'm getting ready to go to bed in the next hopefully 45 minutes. I was struggling getting the kids down. I'm trying to work on schoolwork and homework tonight for the kids, and I do have 4 kids at home and they need me too. And I'm also trying to work and do interviews and take care of a lot of other stuff. And Shaden went down to bed a little later. Happy Sisa Vidar, Behnush. I don't even know what happened to the Nowruz, but I'll tell you the good news, my beautiful friends. Patty, you're so sweet. Sonia, Cheshat Khoshgel Mibine. Sonia has no idea what I just said. My Persian friends can explain to her. Shaden is sleeping. Kiana June. Is that I am already planning Nowruz of 2021 with DJL. We're already planning it. I called him and I said, I just can't be depressed. I need some parties in my calendar for 2021. So we are already working on a massive Nowruz gala for 2021 in San Diego. And when I get the date set, I hope we're going to come and we're going to make it so big. I think we're probably going to have 600-700 seats. I'm hoping. I got to talk to him about that, but let's just double time Nowruz next year. And you blink and we'll be able to hug and shake hands at that time and party and dance close together rather than 6 feet apart. Cause that's just kind of weird. How do you dance at a party and be 6 feet? When you Persian dance, I think is when you dance Persian or Latin or anything, you dance close to somebody, right? You dance next to somebody. You can't dance 6 feet apart. What is that? We can't do that. So yes, we are going to do Nowruz 2021. If things get better, let me roll that back. Stop. When things get better, because this will be over. We will come out of this. Okay, that's without question, without a doubt. And we are safe enough that we can party properly. Then maybe we can look at doing a Mehragan event, which is my non-Persian friends. It's the seasons changing again. But that's all going to depend on how well we social distance, if we can flatten the curve and We can see what we get with testing and what we get with medications and what happens over the next few months. And with the kids today being announced that the kids in California are not going back to school for the rest of the school year. So let's see how all that goes. It's very easy. It's very easy to throw a party. For us, we can do it in like 2 minutes. We can do it in like 2 minutes. But I just need to make sure that everybody is safe, that everybody is not going to have like some type of post-traumatic stress from all of this, that we don't want to shake hands and we don't want to hug, and we can dance together. And when the first opportune moment happens, we're going to do it. But yes, just know 2021, I am like, my calendar's open and I'm plotting. Okay. Somebody's asking where Bruce is. He's watching another episode of Polytech downstairs. I asked him to come upstairs. He said, please do not interrupt me. This is his time, so he can watch his little series. Nahid from Michigan, hello. And Blossom, hello. Okay, so let's get to the point, because I do need to go to bed, and I'm going to work on this project that I was able to shoot today, Amber, and I will get all of Dr. Bradley's interviews for you posted up on social media over the next week or so. My friends that are asking me to focus on Instagram, my shot is focused, so it could be the connection. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can hear me, but there's really nothing that I can do about that. Okay, if not, you can hop on Facebook, because I think they have a really clear picture. Padia from Minnesota, and Mo, and Violet from Canada, and Marjan, whose husband is watching Polytech. Or is it your husband or my husband? Is my husband. My husband is like obsessed. Okay, so today after the show, I went back and I was speaking again to Dr. Bradley. He is the head of the infectious disease at Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego. And he is the doctor that I have been talking to and leaning on for information over the past few weeks. Please know that when I pass information to you, I make sure that that information is from a credible source. I don't just circulate information because we see it, or gargle the water, or any of these things, because I see those things, they get texted to me as well. So no, a blow dryer in your mouth doesn't kill the virus. Drinking water every 15 minutes because of a dry throat, none of those things. And when I even took that information to Dr. Bradley and I said, Dr. Bradley, this is what we've been seeing on the internet, you should see his face. Like, he just gives me this look like, are you really, is the internet slow? Maybe the internet's slow. Instagram, I'm going to disconnect you. I'm going to keep going on Facebook. I will be back with you in Instagram in just a minute. So Dr. Bradley is, let me do game room and see if that works. Can never get the technology to work completely in this house. And it could partly be because my kids are playing games on the internet. Could be. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired. Hi, Sophia and Azita. Much better quality. I know over here, I don't know what's going on with my Instagram. I wanted Instagram to hear this, but give me a second, my beautiful friends. I'm sorry to do this to you in the middle, but I do have some great information that I want to pass along to you. Some of it, the rest of it, I'm going to work on, and I'm going to post it because I want you to hear it from the doctor himself. I hope Instagram, this is better. I disconnected. It looks like my internet is up. I hope this is better. Either way, I can't fidget with this the whole time, or I'm going to be up all night, where I really do need to go to bed. Okay, Goldie and Kathy and Tyrannus says Instagram is having problems today, which that makes sense. Okay, so I went back 3 weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, when all of this started with the coronavirus. I went to Rady Children's Hospital and I sat down with Dr. Bradley. At that time, he was in constant contact with the CDC and with the county health department in San Diego. with the state of California Health, and all these people are working together in order to be able to figure out plans and manage and understand the coronavirus and the effect that it's having. So a few weeks ago, I was able to bring all this information, especially when it comes to kids, because a lot of us are parents, and one of the first things that we're so worried about are the kids going to be okay, right? So he told me about a month ago, he said, Shalli, what they know about the coronavirus is that kids who get the coronavirus will get a bad chest cold. Otherwise healthy kids, okay? Healthy kids with no underlying issues will get a bad chest cold, and they're going to be okay. And they're going to be okay. So all the moms and dads, about a month ago, we took a deep breath and we said, okay, the kids are going to be okay. Fast forward almost a month. I sat down at the chair today, and the first thing I asked him, and I'll show you a picture. I sat down. I posted a picture. Maybe you saw it. This is me. This is me. Look. Look, this is me. This is me sitting down with Mr. This is me. See, that's me. And that's Zach, the photographer, and that's Dr. Bradley. And actually, let me show you the interview that I shot with Dr. Bradley so you can see. And I'm going to go and I'm going to edit this for you.
She's got a cough and respiratory symptoms.
See?
We are now in San Diego coming to the point where we can test them all for coronavirus. And as you know, having sufficient tests has been a problem for everybody here. But when they come in and they test, if they're positive, we are separating the babies from the moms.
So I got a lot of information for you about that. And he said the same thing to me a month later, that kids who are generally healthy, if they do get COVID-19, will have a bad chest cold and they're going to be okay. I know that there are some cases, and there was 1 or 2 reported here in the United States that we heard of infants dying from coronavirus. I asked him about that, and his information to me, Instagram, I'm sorry, there's nothing that I can do about the shot. It's an Instagram thing, and I can't fix it. So if you want a better shot, go to my Facebook page. He is very confident that there are other underlying issues that could be privacy issues that we don't know about, or not disclosed health issues that we don't know about. So could it be dangerous for a child? Absolutely, if they have underlying conditions, just as if you are elderly or really anybody that has any type of underlying issues, then it is a bigger concern. That's why we're social distancing, to protect those people. Because people who... What's wrong, baby? Do you need dad? What's wrong, baby? Hey, Bruce? Arshawn is struggling with his homework. Can you help him? Sorry to interrupt your podcast. He's having a little meltdown right now. And I'm live. I interrupted his paita. Okay, Teresa's asking about newborns. So he said generally, newborns, they'll be okay. Even though their systems, like if they were born with fully developed lungs and they're born as healthy newborns, they will generally be okay. Kids who are generally healthy are going to be okay. We're not going to hear this big wave of a bunch of kids in the tens of thousands dying from coronavirus. That's what he told me today. Again, please note, I am not a doctor. I am not an infectious disease specialist. I am a news anchor. I'm a journalist. My job is to get the information and report the information and try to keep my opinions out of it. I mean, every once in a while, like I get, a little biased with Nowruz and dancing and whatnot. But my job is to get the information and tell you what they're saying, not to give you my opinion. So I am just repeating the information, and I'm going to post these thoughts so you can actually see him, so you can see him saying it himself. And he looked at me today and he goes, Shalli, I've been doctoring for 40 plus years. He's been around. He has seen he has seen this stuff. He is the head of infectious diseases. So you got to give credit to these people who have trained for this, right? It seems like everybody nowadays has become an expert and become doctors. And I'm getting messages from people telling me, you should be this, you shouldn't do that, and you got to do this. And I'm like, are you a doctor? Like, where are you getting this information from? And he did talk about this in the interview today. He was even talking about studies that are coming out in the medical world, and he's reading some of this stuff. But he said, Shalli, when I go down, I'm looking for the details. I'm looking for the data. Like, where it seems like anybody can just publish anything nowadays. And that's what's causing some of the problems. So it's like, get your facts, understand it, understand what the truth is and not what you think it is, or not what you predict it is, or not what you want it to be, or what you don't want it to be. And then you're able to prepare and protect you and your family. And that's how he talks to me. It's not with fear. I mean, he calms me down so much when I leave there that I'm going to be okay. I went to Rady Children's Hospital. They screened me today. I wasn't wearing a mask and I wasn't wearing gloves because the information that I'm learning, and I'll pass that on to you, maybe at some point we may start doing that. Right now, I think our priority is to get these to the healthcare providers that we have from the information that we're reporting. But when it comes down to it, and if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to ask. And if I remember what his answers were, I will share it with you. He said, let me take some water. I still haven't had my chocolate. That there's a very high chance that if you get the coronavirus, it's because you are touching your face. You are touching your face. This is not from what they know today, and they're doing a lot of testing, he told me. All kinds of labs, and scientists, everybody is testing this like crazy right now. This is not like this aerosol, like you're going to walk outside and it's going to get you. And he actually did this. He said something kind of cute and funny because I was talking to him about being at the supermarket, and, all of us are going in there and washing your groceries and stuff. And he kind of said, Shalli, the virus is not going to jump off of a can and jump onto your face and then like crawl up into your nose. And I kind of chuckled at that, right? And he's right. That's not how this virus works. He still does believe that the virus, and when I say he believes, the medical community believes that, and the CDC and the World Health Organization, because all of them are working together, and the county and the state. This is transmitted through large droplets, okay? So when a person coughs and a person sneezes, it comes out. And he said after a few minutes, these droplets sink and they land on the floor. I will never ever, Laura, don't spread rumors, Laura. It's not transmitted through inhaled aerosols. Don't start rumors. There's no proof of that. This is the kind of thing, is that everybody thinks that they read an article somewhere, and we're not listening to the right people. I even listened to a great podcast with Dr. Fauci today. And if you don't know who he is by this point, go look it up. Go look it up. You should know who he is. And even him, the worry at the beginning was if this is aerosol, if it's out everywhere. And Laura, you can post any reference you want. If it doesn't come from the CDC and the World Health Organization and from infectious disease credible specialists, it doesn't mean anything to me. At this point, it doesn't, because everybody seems to have an opinion right now, and we're listening to the wrong people. Okay? Could these droplets live in the air for a short period of time? Yes, but they're heavy, and then they fall to the ground, or they fall on a metal surface. So their belief at this time, and maybe that will change over time, but it's been a month since I talked to him, is that these droplets are landing on surfaces. And Lena, I'll tell you about masks. This virus is living on surfaces, metal, plastic, and it's living on surfaces for a while. And when I say a while, what he's telling me is that there are laboratories right now that are testing. They're putting the coronavirus on different materials. And he said, Shalli, they are testing it and watching it like 30 minutes by 30 minutes or very closely. And they're watching to see how quickly this virus dies. And they can now tell that this virus is dying quickly on some materials, like on clothes I even asked him, like, could it live on your hair? And he said it could, probably not for long, but it could. So, it's important to wash your hair. And this is like somebody sneezing or coughing on your, like, around you. That's why he says we have this 6 foot, even 6 foot is to really keep that distance so that if somebody does cough and does sneeze, that those water droplets are too far to reach you. That's what this social distancing is about. Okay. That's what he told me. So he believes that the transmission, and again, this is coming from CDC, World Health Organization, Dr. Fauci, infectious disease specialist, County of San Diego Health, State of California Health Department. He's at Rady Children's Hospital. These are coming from real people who have studied this the whole time, correct? That possibly, and what is likely, I should say this, likely the transmission of this that is making it happen is that this virus is living long on surfaces. So let me give you an example. I'm starting to get the very beginning symptoms, and I'll talk to you about that, what he said in a minute. And I cough like this in my hand, and I open the door to Shyla's room, and I go put her to sleep, and I leave. Shyla's handle is made out of metal, correct? And that virus, they're saying, could live up to several days on metal. They're saying, I think, up to 2, 3, 4 days possibly on metal. So 2 days later, Bruce goes to open Shyla's door. And he does, and he opens the door because Shyla's crying in the middle of the night, and he goes to lie down next to her. And while he's lying next to her, he's now rubbing her face like this and does a little in her nose or wipes her nose. And what did Bruce just do? What is the likelihood of what Bruce just did? He said we are touching our faces and our nose and our eyes and our mouth more than we know. And I don't know about you, but ever since this has happened, I feel like I'm so conscious about my eyeballs itching and my nose itching and my mouth itching. I look at how many times I'm like this, or I'm doing my makeup, or I just, I'm thinking, or just think about how many times we're not conscious of how many times we touch our face, right? So they believe at this time that is the reason for the higher transmission. Is it likely to get it from, like, if somebody, I asked him today, I said, if I went to Costco, and I'm going to roll his answer for you later. If I went to Costco and somebody coughed and that wind like blew in my direction, or I walked in that direction like 5 minutes later, right? They coughed. Am I going to get the coronavirus if I walked in that path and they coughed and they walked away? This was his answer to me. And again, he's an infectious disease doctor who has been practicing for 40 years. He said if 2 to 3 minutes went by, I would be fairly confident to walk through that airspace himself, and I would not be infected with the coronavirus. That's what he told me today. So this is not something that they believe at this time is just sitting in the air for days and you just kind of walk somewhere and bam, you got it. He really does believe that this is coming from hands, from the air. It's touching something. It's touching something. So that brings me to the question. Katie says we touch our hands 19 times a day. I think, like, imagine how many times kids touch their hands. Their fingers are in their mouth all the time, in their nose, in every hole that they have, like this one. How many times do you put your finger in your nose, in your ears, in your mouth, and other holes that you have, little dude? Mommy? Yes. You want my chocolate? Mommy,
no, I want another one.
Okay.
A different one.
Okay. But come over here first. Answer this question. How many times do you put your hands in your nose or in your mouth or in your eyes or in your ear or any other hole in your body and you don't wash your hands? How many times?
I wash my hands.
You do wash your hands.
0.
0. That's what you think. You want me to share with you?
No.
Okay, do you know where one is?
Yeah.
In the pantry. Okay. Okay, I catch that one with his hands in his mouth like 42 million times a day. So back to the kids, he was saying that the kids, they're going to be okay, but those kids are going to spread this virus like wildfire, like wildfire. So that was one thing that I heard that I really understood, which brought me to the fact of the masks and the gloves. And I asked him about that. I said, why are we not wearing masks and gloves? He said, look, the masks, and I heard this from Dr. Fauci in his podcast earlier today too. You know, I think he's at the point that if we didn't have a shortage of masks, it doesn't hurt to wear them. But if we do have them right now, there's people who really need them. And those are the sick people and those are the doctors who are waiting in the hospital and they're about to be coughed on with all these droplets from people who are sick. So if you are generally a healthy person and you're staying in the house or you're just going to go to the supermarket and you're keeping 6 feet distance away from somebody, you should be okay. You don't need a mask according to them at this time. I don't know if that's going to change. If it does, I will, and Dr. Bradley told me the same thing. He will be the first. He keeps an open mind with everything, and he'll share the information. And he says the same thing, and I told him, I said, the good thing about a mask, though, is that you won't touch your face, right? Because if you have, a mask on your face like this, anytime you come and touch, you're not going to touch your nose and your mouth. And the same goes with gloves. If you have gloves on and you get ready to touch your nose or your face, then it'll stop you from doing that. For those like Isabella saying, depending on how much of the virus has dispersed in the air or sneezing, Isabella, it's absolutely true. Which brings me to the next point. He's talked a lot about virus, like the viral load. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm repeating what a doctor told me in the interview today. The reason the doctors are getting so sick is that you have a ton of people around them that have these high viral loads, constant coughing, constant sneezing, and they're getting rid of this virus in much, much higher level than all of us would if we happen to be by someone who may cough. They can't keep that 6-foot distance with patients. That's why those masks are so important for the sick people going to the hospital, to keep those droplets in and to protect the doctors as well. So yeah, I'm sure if you have been around somebody who's super, super sick and they're constantly coughing and sneezing, that may live up there, but it's for a very short period of time, and that virus is going to drop down to the ground. And with all due respect, I think at this point right now, we don't have a lot of really sick people. I'm hoping not, because we're social distancing, and they're saying in the state of California right now, here, the social distancing is working. They're starting to see that, and Dr. Fauci said the same thing, that even though we're going to see the numbers go up in California over the next 2 weeks, what you are doing, if you're in California and you're staying at home, it's working. And you have to keep doing that because it's working. It's working. It's flattening the curve. Because when you're not around somebody who's coughing and sneezing and you're not exposing yourself, then you're not passing the virus around. So I do trust what he says. I do trust what he says. He does not believe that the spread of this is high at this time with asymptomatic people. He does believe the viral load increases when symptoms start to show, and even the mildest symptoms that people may not realize. Like we talked to Valerie today earlier, the girl in 16 days had the highest fever she had, she said, was a 99. A 99. And that was the only fever she had for 16 days. And then we've heard people, and I know of people that their fever was 103 and 104. Everybody's symptoms are different. So he said, Shalli, the thing that we know about this virus is it comes really, really slow. It starts with like a little bit of body ache or a little runny nose, and most of us just think that, oh, we're tired, or oh, this is just a little scratchy throat, I'll do some Listerine. You don't think you have the coronavirus, but that could be when we're talking about asymptomatic people, it's really those mild symptoms that are starting, and that's when you could be contagious. Hence, why they say if you feel sick at all with anything, a sore throat, runny nose, anything, to stay home, which you should be doing anyhow because it gets everybody sick, but just stay home. And he talks about that. And I got some really good sound from him, some answers from him that I'm going to chop up and I'm going to let him tell you. But I wanted to give you my overall takeaway from this so that you know. Let me think what else that he said. Annie says, if social distancing is helping, why do they keep saying there's going to be a spike in 2 weeks, and how are they so sure about it? So they do a lot of these on modeling, Annie. They're looking at numbers, and they can predict these things. And you have to remember that it's taking up to 14 days for people to show their symptoms. We still, up until maybe a few days ago, have people walking around. I mean, look at Florida right now. I mean, look at, did you see the video out of Miami Beach over the past few weeks with spring breakers? Even in San Diego 2 weeks ago, everybody was at the beach. Like, I know people want to get outside, and Dr. Fauci said he went out on a run. He made sure that he wasn't going to be around people. And if he was going to be around a person, it's 6 feet apart. And we go on walks, but you should go walk on your own neighborhood. Social distancing does not mean let's all stay home and then let's go to the beach and let's go start walking together. It's keeping that 6 foot distance, which means that you can't pass this virus to somebody else. That's what we're trying to do. So people who probably have it now or are fighting it right now or just finding out, because it could take up to 2 weeks for the symptoms to show, and they fight this and they're on ventilators, that's why they believe that it's going to spike in 2 weeks. But from all the experts that I'm hearing, if we keep doing social distancing the way that we are, this should slowly start to come down. Slowly. So it's working. Okay? It's working. So please keep doing what you're doing. I know it feels like you're stuck at home. I'm at home with 4 kids too. And I still obviously need to work in the morning, but I haven't seen my parents. I talk to them on Zoom. Bruce's parents are my neighbors. I don't see them. And I know all of you, there's people who have lost jobs and people, and you're figuring out kids are out of school. I get it. Let's just save some lives and we will figure all of this out. Okay. I know we will figure this all out. I want to keep people alive. And my heart broke today. I read a story. I was watching a story about a 42-year-old mom. She beat stage 4 breast cancer. And she said goodbye to her kids on a walkie-talkie, 5 children, and died from complications from coronavirus. I don't want to hear those kind of stories. It's heartbreaking. You shouldn't, as a mother, have to say goodbye to your kids alone and not be surrounded about people who you love. I mean, no. So if that means that we have to sit home, we'll figure out the rent, we'll figure out the money, we're figuring out the food, we're figuring out the kids, we'll figure out how to take care of each other. There's so many good people. Oh my God, there's so many. I'm watching you. Everybody's helping each other. People are helping each other. They're feeding each other. They're checking in on each other. So let's just keep doing that. And we have till April 30th right now. And I see some light at the end of the tunnel if we keep doing what we're doing. This does not mean let's all go running outside and lighten up and things are okay. Okay? That means that what you're doing right now, you're being a hero too. You guys are being a hero too. So let me see. Rumi Matt says, please tell me it's true that they found the vaccine and it's out in June. Rumi Matt, from anybody that I've heard, credible information, a vaccine is not going to be available for a year. They have to test it. I heard Dr. Fauci on the podcast talk about it again today. They have to test it. They have to make sure it's safe. Yes, there's vaccines and that have already been developed, and they're already in clinical trials. And I'm sure the second that they realize, I'm going to tell you one more other thing about kids in the school in a minute, but he says we need to wait for this vaccine. We need to wait for this vaccine. And until that time comes, there will be some sort of social distancing, like measures need to be taken. And hopefully with the testing coming out, there'll be ways to be able to identify people faster and get those people, isolated so that the people who don't have it can continue to, get this world back to normal. So no, there is no vaccine as of I know of from any of the credible organizations that's coming out in June. Okay. Let me see what other questions that you have. Can you answer? Can you get immunity? Tarana is asking, Shali June, please answer Sam G question on Instagram. Do you get immunity after you get it? And can you get coronavirus again after you already got it once? I asked Dr. Bradley that. I will post the answer. From what I remember, he referred to some studies in China. I think they're still trying to figure it out. I think they're still trying. I don't think there's any hard data on that, whether you can and cannot get it again or a different strain of it or whatnot. I believe his answer to me was, I don't know. And I love it when somebody tells me I don't know and they don't try to fake it and tell me something that I want to hear. But I will go back and I will look for that answer. I know that he did tell me that there's reports that came out of China that is showing that people are infecting again. So I'm sure that he says, Shali, we're learning. We're learning every single day about this. Hence, all this time that we're buying for them by staying at home, we're giving these people time, the scientists, the doctors, the teams, the governments, everybody time to figure out what the heck we're going to do. Okay? So, but Tarana, I will keep that on my question list and I will ask again, because I know that in the news they've talked a lot about people who have had it, that they're asking for their blood. I've had a few doctors reach out to me, and Rami June, thank you so much. Fafa, thank you so much. Michael, I asked about Comic-Con today. We're looking for an answer because they did move the homeless in San Diego into the convention center. So I am asking about that. And I lost my train of thought. I tell you one thing that I did learn, because I learned that this virus comes out and it drops to the ground. Nobody in my house is allowed to wear shoes again in this house. Nobody is allowed to wear, we really didn't wear shoes in this house, but sometimes I think like I'll have a dinner and my family will come over, and I don't tell my family to take their shoes off at their house. They come into the house, or every once in a while the kids come running in the house after school, and I've never really thought about it. And then I thought, oh my gosh. And then my babies, they're crawling, like Shaden's crawling on the ground with his hands and then puts this in his mouth. And I'm like, oh, the germs. And now I've learned so much about the handles and the bathrooms and just the desk and everything that you touch, and people that are, behind, like, oh, I just tell you, this has just changed. Talk about I'm not one of those overly, whatever. Okay, let me see. Questions. Okay, I said to him also, I talked to him for 45 minutes. This is a guy that is like running the ship in that department over there. And he sat with me for 45 minutes. I said, Dr. Bradley, please, we need information. I can't read studies on Facebook. I can't watch news 24 hours a day because it makes me feel like something's going to happen to me. Like, and I'm in the news, and I need real information. And I took my questions. See, what happened to my questions? Did Arshawn? No, it's right here. See? So these are the questions I asked him. And then I'm going to post the answers throughout the weekend when I can cut it. I asked him about asymptomatic people. He gave me an answer, and if they're contagious. I asked him what we know today about kids in coronavirus, and I've told you that. Generally healthy kids, they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay, but they're going to spread this like wildfire to mom and dad and to grandma and grandpa, and that's a big problem. Big problem. I talked to him about the numbers and flattening the curve. He has an answer. I talked to him about our kids are getting sick for a million reasons. I can't tell you how many times between 4 kids I go to the doctor because they got sniffles, they got a virus, and we're never afraid of those things. Even the flu, like when we get the flu, we just deal with it. But there's a scariness to this because of stories that we see on the internet about, I asked him, I said, I see like a 45-year-old that says no underlying health conditions died. And he just looked at me like this and he said, I can pretty much guarantee there's more to that story. There's more to that story. So he's looking for data. He's looking for data. Most people will get it and most people will recover. But that percentage of people who are going to struggle with it, there are family, there are loved ones, there are grandmas, our grandpas, our sisters, our brothers, our moms, our dads. They're a dad, they're a mom themselves. We have to protect them. We have to protect them. And I'm sorry, nobody, in my opinion, should have to leave this planet and not be surrounded by the people that they love, to hug them and to say goodbye to them and say whatever they want to say with them and leave this planet isolated and alone. I mean, that's just, I can't think of anything more horrible than that. I asked him about, should you take your kids to the doctor at this time? He has an answer for that. I asked him about, can this sit in the air and for how long? He had an answer for that. I said, if your kid is sick right now at home, what should you do? He had an answer for you. I asked him if you can get the virus from your clothes or from your hair. And he had an answer for me. I asked him what I thought his prediction of what was going to happen. And he talked to me about that. And by the way, I'm going to post before I get to my last question, and then I'm going to skedaddle off to bed. Rady Children's Hospital has set up a pediatric nurse line. You can call this number, moms and dads, from 8 in the morning to 10 in the evening. If you have a paper and pen, I'm going to post it. If not, it's 858-966-8399. 858-966-8399. If you have a question about coronavirus in kids, because this is a pediatric hospital, this nurse line, it's staffed with nurses and for free. You don't have to have insurance. You don't have to be a part of Rady Children's Hospital. You can call them and you can talk to a nurse, a pediatric nurse, okay? So that's the number for you. I'm going to post that number. 858-966-8399. 8 in the morning to 10 at night, you can call and talk to a pediatric nurse for free. If that helps you calm your mind, if you have any questions about coronavirus in kids or your kid, they are there for you. I love Rady Children's Hospital. Thank you so much for doing that, Rady, and I'll post that number for you later. Beta, I will tell you the answers, but I want him to tell you. I don't want this to all just be coming out of my mouth. You need to hear it from an expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an infectious disease specialist. I am just passing information that I report on, and I need you to hear this information from him. So I'm going to work very hard in the next few days to cut this information for you, and I'm going to post it up on Instagram and Facebook so you can have him tell you, okay? The final question that I asked him, and I said, can kids realistically go back to school in 2020? We have them out of school right now. It was announced in California today that the kids are most likely out for the rest of the year. But I said, what happens when fall comes? Because Dr. Fauci's guess was that we will see a dip come summer because the social distancing that all of you are so fantastic and you're doing and you're washing your hands. And when you go, I also asked him about food, eating out. You can eat out, just wash your hands and be smart. You go to a grocery store, you buy your stuff, but you wash everything. I'll post all that information for you too. So all you people yelling at me about don't encourage people to take takeout. It's not true. You don't get the virus from food. You can get it from the plastic on the outside, but if you take it out and then you wash your hands and you get the food out of the box and then you wash your hands and you eat your food, you're going to be fine. But the other thing that I asked him about school, he believes that as me and you and all of us are working to flatten this curve, their hope is, as some of these other viruses, and they won't know until the time comes, that as the temperatures do warm up and some of these viruses kind of cycle out and we're flattening the curve and we're not spreading it because we're all inside and the kids are inside, that we'll see a little bit of we'll see a decline come June, July, and then come fall that we're going to go through a second cycle of this. And this is words coming out of Dr. Fauci that I'm repeating. But he believes that the second cycle time around, we're going to be much more prepared. We'll have testing in place. We're gonna know how to handle this compared to what we saw. And I said, Dr. Bradley, how do we send the kids back to the school come August if we don't have a vaccine out by then? And he said, we'll have to see what our options are there. And he said, maybe there's some mass testing that all kids, they have these big testing that all kids get tested for coronavirus before they go back to school, and they have to be negative in order to go back. And I found that to be interesting. So these are conversations that they're having on the back end, that they're thinking about this. Kids do need to go back to school and people do need to go back to work, is how do we create that? So I thought that was interesting that maybe, and he said even when the vaccine comes out, there's going to be some mass vaccinations happening, not like the flu shot where you go in, but mass vaccinations happening so that everybody gets it. That they are, I'm sure, setting up a plan. And I think that when he said that, I kind of got it, that they're thinking about it, is that maybe they do need to swab all the kids. And now there's testing coming out that you can get results in less than 3 minutes. By the time July rolls around, I'm sure it's going to be much more widespread and you can get a whole school tested. You know that all the kids are tested negative. Those kids can at least come back to school, and then they can isolate as those cases pop up. And we kind of go through that cycle again, keep maybe a little bit of social distancing and do it on a different level until this vaccine comes out. So that gave me a lot of hope that this being at home with the kids 400 hours a day will come to an end. I hope you look at it as an opportunity to be with your kids. Today on the news, I was saying I looked in my Arshaya's eyes, and he's 8 years old. And I live a very busy life. I work on the mornings. I go to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. You see my face like this. I'm still up at 7:49 at night, and I'm constantly throwing parties and events. And you know it all. You know my story if you've been around. But to have the opportunity to sit down and just look at him, and I looked in his brown part of his honey eyes, and I saw that he had this little brown freckle like in his eye, and he's 8, and I'm wondering how long has that been there, and I haven't seen it. And this is my son, and I'm looking at every single nook on his nose and his little eyebrows and how they come together right here, how much he looks like his daddy, and his teeth and how they're growing, his little teeth are coming in, and how he's going to need braces. And I'm looking at Shaden and watching his face just change in front of my eyes, or Shyla, and how she's just getting sassier by the minute. And no, who asked me you didn't notice it before? Tyron, and no, because you know what? We're all, I'm not going to say all, but so many of us are so busy. And we were so caught up in the work, go to school, drop the kids off, come home, do the homework, take the bath, go to piano, do your soccer, do your swimming, read your book, do your homework, do the dishes. Okay, go to bed, let's do it again. And then get to the weekend and then go to this kid's party and then go to that kid's party. And then we got to go do this and then go do that. And I'm not saying it's for everybody, because I know that, but a good majority of us are constantly working and overloaded and tired. And I know this is true because we talk about it in the news all the time. It's like, how many of us really sleep? How many of us really sleep 6 or 7 hours a night? We're so stressed. We always have things in our mind. It is a grind. And we have the opportunity now, and I hope you're working and you haven't lost your jobs and you're able to make it work for 60 days. And the people who are struggling, I hope you're finding ways, because I know they're out there and I'm trying to find them to share them with you, that you can get through the next 60 days, leaning on friends and family and the government and whatever you need to do. And I think we're going to look back at this time, if we can hold on to our family and friends around us and appreciate this time when it's gone, because that world of the work and all this stuff is waiting for us. And I have a feeling a few years down the line, even though Some of us will be changed a little bit because of this experience. We'll get back there again, and we'll start working again, and we might go, oh, remember that time? And I hope it changes us for the better. I hope it changes us for the better. It will for me. I mean, I love this, not having 600 things to do after work and just coming home and cooking and just cooking at home and cuddling with my kids in bed and cleaning. Like I love to organize and working on some of these projects that I've been wanting to work on and go live with you more and not feel like I don't know. That's just kind of what I think. Going on walks, like I've walked, and you probably have walked more in the past month than I probably have in the past few years with my kids, because I'm always just so tired. I'm just so tired. So just this time with them, I'm trying to look at it in the bright side and appreciate it. And I know this will be over. I know at some point this is going to be over. It's just a matter of when. So take advantage of it and enjoy this quiet time with your family and friends. And life may not be the same, but it's okay. Maybe it'll be better. Parveen, life is not the same, but maybe it will be better. It will be better. So thank you for hanging out with me. I'm going to post this up on YouTube so you can go back and watch it. My channel on YouTube is called SHALLZ. I know Instagram didn't have the greatest connection, but you can watch this on Facebook. It'll be up on YouTube. You can email me at helloshalz@gmail.com. I posted on Instagram that I'm planning my 2021 calendar, and no joke, I was invited to a million parties in 2021 and people asking me to marry them for their weddings and MC their galas and planning Nowruz and whatever it is. So yes, I will, whatever I can do, if I can fit in my schedule. I got to take care of my husband and my kids first. And if I can make it happen, I'd love to be with you. Just go to helloshalz@gmail.com and message me. I will get this interview cut up for you. I will do it through the weekend and post it. Dr. Bradley really calmed me. The biggest thing, friends, that I can tell you is wash your hands and don't touch your face. Wash your hands and do not touch your face. Wash your hands and do not touch your face. I would say in kindergarten class, we say, get it, and that's where you say, got it. Wash your hands and do not touch your face. He said the likelihood of you getting the coronavirus is because you touched something and then you went like that. Okay, so keep that in mind, and I will let you hear that from him and not from me because I'm not the doctor. Tomorrow here, a good friend of mine, an old friend of mine, his name is Brad. He's going to be on here live with me tomorrow, I believe around 6:30. He has lost 5 people to COVID-19. They've passed away, his family and family friends. He is going to come on here to talk to me about it, talk to you about it, what his experience has been. So we have that coming up, and I have a bunch of other interviews coming up over the next week. I have a little bit more time on my hands, and I just want to pass off the information I'm getting to you so you can make best decisions for you and your families and protect yourselves and each other. So there'll be, I love it. Alina says, got it. There you go. That's what I tell my little kids. Get it. And they go, got it, mommy. I learned it from volunteering in their classrooms and listening to their teachers. I'm also working on getting a teacher here, almost confirmed, hopefully, that she's going to come on here and talk to parents about tricks and what we can do with the kids being at home. And the biggest piece of advice that I've gotten is that I am not their teacher. I am not here to create another school. And if we have a bad day, it's okay. I'm just going to let it go. They are not going to go backwards in education for 2 months. So we'll get through 2. And I think that's it. I'll be back at the Foxside Morning News tomorrow, Friday, hoping that everybody stays healthy. I will be back here live tomorrow at 6:30. I am planning a special sing-along party on Saturday night with my friend Kayvon for those who enjoy Persian music. And I'm trying to get him to do something live for us on Instagram. So if you want to join us and dance a little bit, that's coming up on Saturday. And don't forget, next Friday is our little Shaden's first birthday. He is turning 1. and we needed to postpone his birthday party, but I am going to celebrate his first birthday live with you here, and that's happening 4 p.m. on Friday, April 10th, and you can help me be a part of his first birthday and sing happy birthday to him. So I'm going to take my tired eyes, and I'm going to eat my dark chocolate with sunflower butter. That's so good. I worked so hard for this, like so hard. I've been up since 3 in the morning. I came home, and kids, I did the interview with Valerie, and I took a shower, and then I did dinner, and I washed the dishes, everybody was fighting, and then I do kids' homework. Well, at least I my chocolate. I'm gonna go to bed, and I'm gonna get up at 3 o'clock in the morning if nobody wakes me up in the middle of the night. And then I'll be back on your TV with makeup on again. What do you think? The chocolate is so good. It's so good. Goldie and Scott. Wash my hands. I'm allowed to lick my own fingers. This house has been so disinfected, there's no coronavirus in here. At least for now. I feel like it's a game. Like when you go out, I'm like, when am I going to touch? And then, oh man, I touched my face. I imagine it being glitter everywhere and trying not to get the glitter on my hand and on my face. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands. I will post all of this. I have chocolate in my mouth. Good night. Shab Becher. Good night, beautiful friends. I'll see you in a few hours.